It is Thursday, February 22nd, 2024. My name's Brian Engelman, and this is the Agree to Disagree show here on the New American Media, because the old American media has failed you. The grid is down. At least portions of it are down. So if you're receiving this message, happy to have you here. Please subscribe in all the places. Click thumbs up, click the hearts button, click the likes button. Okay, I want to get into the news with this disruption in service. This grid down situation is something that, I got to double click, don't I? This is something that we have discussed on this channel many times. The grid going down. Make sure you follow us on X. We're at American_media_. So let's go through, see what we can learn. This person says, I found it strange that the cover story is that a solar flare caused the disruption to the cellular and intercellular services, but not the electrical power grid. This person says they're also sun sensitive and they can feel adversely affected by solar activity like storms, solar flares, and coronal mass ejections. Something to be aware of. So AT&T having a nationwide outage with Verizon, US Cellular, and Cricket also reporting major outages. Yeah, all at a time where Leave the World Behind is trending. So, if the grid goes down, you better be ready. And it's something I've said for a long time, especially now that there are millions of people stationed across as sleeper cells across this country. When the grid goes down, you better be ready as best you can. And in any of the ways that you can level up, this would be an excellent time to level up in all of the ways, all of the things, all the supplies, all of the, you want to be fit. You want to be physically fit. Tone up, do some strength training, do some cardio, some long walks. Drop some pounds. You want to be financially fit. You want to make sure that you have some money. You want to make sure that you're spiritually fit, that you're kind of aligned with whatever operating procedure you have in your brain. Like if you open up the instruction manual to you, what does it say makes you tick? And what is the parameter of why you do what you do, why you are who you are? You need to know these things concretely, because when things get weird, this is going to be like a North Star to guide yourself toward. You don't have to specifically talk about any particular faith or religion or spirituality, but you need to know where your North Star is. Kind of need to know what you're okay with and what you're not okay with. Are there any lines in the sand that could be drawn? And for a lot of us over the past few years, a lot of medical strong arming has been occurring. A lot of crossing the line. I use the Harvey Weinstein reference all the time. It's like, hey, if you don't put this inside of you, you can't work in this town. Well, that's what Joe Biden did to you. And there's a genuine mistrust now. Especially at a time where it's like, wow, you hear all these stories about people suffering from strange anomalies, strange medical issues that, I don't know, just seems kind of suspicious, if you will. And then it's like, is there a large number of people that are not going to make it through? And is that why millions are being pumped into refill? Couldn't be something like that, right? So that's one of the questions you have to ask yourself, is when things get tough, who are you? Okay, so this is Chuck Calesto saying U.S. cell phone outages being reported across multiple service providers, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, U.S. Cellular, and that some reports now indicating a possible cyber attack on our nation that may have began early Thursday morning. It's, of course, now 3:05 Eastern Standard Time in the afternoon on Thursday, February 22nd, perhaps the last day that communications will go out to the internet. You know, I talk about these subjects apocalyptically, but I really do mean it. Every show could be the last show that we do. And we appreciate every one of you participating. But please follow us in all the spots, the Spotify podcast, the Rumble account. Spotify, we're the Agree to Disagree show. Rumble, we're the New American Media. On Telegram, we're TNAM and TNAM Chat. That's something a little bit different. TNAM and TNAM Chat. On X, we're at American_media_. Instagram.com/the New American Media. And of course, Patreon.com/the New American Media for people that appreciate that. But yeah, cyber attack on our nation. I mean, this is what it would look like. This is part of what it would look like if there were a full spectrum dominance situation, all fronts coordinated. You know, sleeper cells activate at the dawning of the 12th bell in town center. Everybody's special cell phones go off and give you the message. It's go time. Meet at this location. You're armed up and you're given marching orders. I mean, if you ever wanted to take over a country, I've never seen a mobilization like this. And it's been going on for years. Really, when President Trump came in 2016, started talking about the wall, you're like, yeah, I guess. The more that people would talk about it, the more you'd say, well, look, here's my main concern. In a worst case scenario situation, I would not want to be trapped here. I wouldn't want it to be so difficult for me to get out. But on the flip side, you're like, well, look, they got me taking off my shoes when I go on an airplane. They got me wearing well, we know what it doesn't do. I mean, there's a point where, like, you're not even able to travel on an airline unless you participated in some sort of medical project. You know, there are lines that have been crossed. And there have been red flags upon red flags tossed. And we need to get prepared before all is lost. How about that? That sort of rhymed. Those were 3 rhymes there. But let's go back and dig into some more of what we know about this. Yeah, this person, LA, saying, everyone, hey, why the heck do you still have a landline? And this is the GIF or the GIF. Did I win? I feel like I won. Yeah, I've been thinking about that, like having ham radio. Got to boost that up, have a Baofeng, so you can have communications like walkie-talkie style. But ham radio goes long distances. An actual good radio. Alternate communications. We're so dependent on this one mode of things. It's not a good idea. So should you get a landline? Maybe. I've actually been thinking about it lately. Let me just kind of scroll through. Let's see what they're saying about Gmail here. I'm guessing this is related. Oh, I guess maybe nothing is happening here. You know, I find it weird when you see things trending on X these days. Sometimes it's pretty hard to track. Like, you click on something that's trending and you go, there's no reason this is trending. There's no reason this should be trending. Here we go. Let's just listen to Bill Gates in his own words, not mine. what he has to say. These are all stories that we find every day on the New American Media.
And the fatality rate, didn't understand that it's a fairly low fatality rate and that it's a disease mainly of the elderly, kind of like flu is, although a bit different than that. So that was at that point.
Well, there you go, kind of like flu. That's what he had to say. Who knew? Because there are people that really weaponized government to force you into making decisions during that time. Now, this is Nikki Haley talking with Harris. Let me play this for you. Haley still won't drop out of the presidential race with the Republicans for some reason. They think she just thinks they're going to get him with the lawfare.
At 9/11.
Ambassador, I understand that you take it that way and that's what you heard. And we'll have to see how all of this plays out. This president didn't have an invasion by Putin on his watch, the only one in recent presidents. So there is that to be said.
So her kind of shutting down, there's a lot of rhetoric and Trump blaming going on. It's just unfortunate that they're still doing this in mid-February, late February of an election year, that, like, do you call him the incumbent president? You would call him former president, current president, living through whatever this Biden situation is. Trying to figure out who actually believes that things are what they seem these days. But it's unfortunate that Nikki Haley is still playing this game. It would be nice if everybody was laser focused on taking the Democrats out of power for what they've done. But as you've seen, there's so much of the deep state that is hiding behind are hiding behind the R for Republican, the Mitt Romneys, the Liz Cheneys, that phony J6 panel. There's so many people that have turned their backs on the Republican agenda. It just makes you wonder, how long have the two parties been playing the same agenda? A lot of us grew up in a time, whenever you grew up, say it was radio, say it was the printed newspaper, magazines, the evening news, podcasts, just how do people get their news these days? But people used to think that the information we had was accurate. And what it is, in many cases, is just pure propaganda. And that doesn't help any of us as we're trying to be discerning and figure out, just the 5 W's, the who, what, where, when, why. I can handle my own spin. Thank you very much. So if I put spin on a situation, I need to know who is involved in the situation. I want to know where it's happening. Tell me why different people are saying it's happening. Let me hear different viewpoints on that. Where, when, why, all that stuff. All this, the pure speculation, I'm pretty good at that. I'm pretty good at discerning and putting pieces together. I'm not perfect, but I do the best I can. I've never knowingly pushed something incorrect. I believe that LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time. It's an opinion that I will get pushed back on. I back it up with, my experience watching both of these players play in their prime. And I just think LeBron's the most complete player. Assists, rebounds, blocks, offense, clutch shots. And essentially he played general manager for 3 different franchises, bringing 3 different titles to 3 different cities. Now that's not something I could objectively be incorrect about. That's not to say LeBron James, his politics are just atrocious, divisive, fraudulent, incorrect, based on faulty information, incorrect information. He's really played the Obama divisive game. But I mean, LeBron was winning championships when Obama was in the White House. Like they've teamed up to kind of get that out there. I mean, look at Obama and Netflix with Leave the World Behind. LeBron James making lots of content with his company. You know, it's all the same sort of thing. Oprah and The Rock. It's just when you reach certain levels, like, you know, you're in these upper echelon clubs. And that's who you are. But my point is, I'm not objectively wrong about the preference of who the greatest basketball player of all time was or is. I've never intentionally pushed anything false out there. All I'm doing is trying to sift through the same news that you're seeing and make sense of it. Here's another one. We did discuss this before, but it's worth repeating. The SEC just approved the merger of Truth Social, Trump Media Technology Group, TMTG, and Digital World Acquisition Corporation, DWAC. This is really great news because this means that Truth Social will now be traded publicly on the New York Stock Exchange. And real Donald Trump just got $4 billion richer. I think that's half of $4 billion. Take that, Judge Engoron, you commie. So that's just interesting. All the lawfare that they're using in New York and Georgia, wherever they can to try to destroy this man, he just gets stronger. This is from Luke Radowski. This is important here because, you know, I want to do a tight show today, and I want to give you some of your time back because you need to make some preparations today. You know, I don't know what the weather's like where you're at. I don't know what the cell service is like where you are. But just imagine if the grid went down. What would you do right now if you wish you had a couple hours left? I'm going to leave it at that. But Luke Radowski put this out here from last year. CBS News, senators have been issued satellite phones, part of new security measures. Scott McFarlane on May 21, 2023, said amid growing concerns of security risks to members of Congress, over 50 senators have been issued satellite phones for emergency communication. People familiar with measures told CBS News. The devices were part of a series of new security measures being offered to senators by the Senate Sergeant at Arms, who took over shortly after the assault on the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. And he says, my conspiracy mind is tingling. What do you think is going on here? This, of course, Luke Radowski, Luke We Are Change, posting the NBC story. 70,000 AT&T outages reported just before 8 a.m. on Thursday. With the most issues. Wow. Look at the places they had the most issues. Where have the most illegal aliens kind of landed? Most of the issues in Houston, Chicago, Dallas, Los Angeles, and Atlanta, according to the tracking site Down Detector. So it's worth keeping an eye on. If you had a couple hours left in a chance to redo things. Yeah, I used to drive past this sign. Where was it? I think it was on La Cienega, right in Los Angeles, where I used to live. And it was like a billboard off to the right on La Cienega headed north. And it said, a year from now, what will you wish you did today? And I love that. A year from now, what will you wish you did today? So look, if I'm communicating to you now, the grid is up, at least insofar as the ability to communicate with you on this show. I'll take it. But what if it wasn't? So what would you do if you had another chance to get a few more supplies or get a little bit more training in? Or, you know, do you buy anything? Do you train? Do you get, you know, do you acquire any items? Do you unload any items? Do you get cash? Do you get Bitcoin out? Like what happens if the grid extended period of time? Are you flexible? You know, these are really important questions we need to be asking ourselves. But this right here, this is a post from Colin Rugg. It says 81-year-old Joe Biden holds hands with 83-year-old Nancy Pelosi as they make their way to bingo. Marine One. Biden was elected to Senate in 1972. Pelosi became a representative in 1987. The country is being ran by the elderly who would be in nursing homes if it wasn't for their decades of reign. It wasn't supposed to be this way. I heard somebody refer to Joe Biden as C-3PO. Oh, that is my favorite thing. He walks like C-3PO from the Star Wars. It's just pretty incredible. What did that quote say? That Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, and Joe Biden are older than America? That can't be right. How old are we exactly? So if we're in 2024, and we'll say 1776 was when we started, we're 248 years old. So let's see, minus 81 of Joe Biden, minus 83. Oh my gosh. Of Nancy Pelosi. How old is Maxine Waters? That would be 84. If she's 84 years old, that tweet is accurate. That is stunning. 85. Oh my goodness. Maxine Waters, Joe Biden, and Nancy Pelosi are older than our country. Oh, that is just brutal to think about. Oh, that is incredible. I'm having a hard time with that. I'm going to have to tweet that one out. Where was that comment? I read that going, well, that's just, it's like a way to exaggerate, right? No, I don't think so. Okay, so follow us. We're at American_media_. I'm going to tweet this out right now. I'm going to do the mind blown GIF. Is it GIF or GIF? Is this still a conversation people are having? GIF? GIF. I call it a GIF. I'm going to search for mind blown. If Kramer does appear, that one's... Oh, there's so many good ones here. I'm going to go with Kramer. The best characters in all of sitcom history. Good to see Agenda 2030 trending as well. All right, that one's out of the way. Yeah, Agenda 2030 is what they're going to collapse everything with and then shuffle you into. They don't want autonomous people. They want their serfs. They want their slaves. Okay, so Kyle Becker here. Here's another story. This one is about the timing of Catherine Herridge's termination. This is a huge story. You know, you think about Mar-a-Lago getting broken into at Biden's behest. Allegedly or obviously, however you want to say that. And now there's this. So Catherine Herridge has been let go. But here's the story. Kyle Becker says the timing of Herridge's termination immediately raised suspicions in Washington. She was pursuing stories that were unwelcomed by the Biden White House. CBS News now facing backlash over journalism scandal after seizing the reporter's confidential files. Does this take me to any more article? Guess not. I thought it might. Yeah, why did she ever leave Fox? Although Fox is no longer Fox, so whatever. So Elon here, Elon said that he just typed in a Google query on his phone, and the top two choices are pro-censorship. So he said in the Google bar, why censorship? You know, how would fill in the blank? Why censorship? What would you imagine? Like, why censorship is bad for a country? Why censorship is banned in America? Why censorship is blocked by the First Amendment? Why censorship is antithetical to American values and the Bill of Rights and our civil rights, American civil liberties. You would never think why censorship is important. No, that's the opposite. That's literally the last thing you would think about. Why censorship is important. Or why censorship is important in social media. Very specific. Thank you for that, Google. But no, censorship is not okay. Censorship is never okay. And we said here, this is so creepy. Google pushes most of the wrong things. It's pretty telling. It's pretty sad. It's pretty creepy. Anyway. Yeah, let me play this for you. This is how many years ago? 44 years ago today. Reflog put this out. Reflog famously did the Cleveland Perfect Winless Season Parade, parody parade and protest, and we did a documentary on that called Football Equals Family. It's on YouTube. Check it out. It's pretty fun. But Chris McNeil is reminding us 44 years ago today, the United States versus Russia. Here, let's enjoy this. Back when we could feel like we were on the same team.
Going on right now. Morrow up to Schultz. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles?
Do you believe in miracles?
Yes.
Yes. And you could hear the crowd saying 4, 3, 2, 1. And there it is. One of the biggest upsets in sports history. Remember when it was fun to be on a team?
Going on right now.
To be on the same team?
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes.
So there you have it. Just a little piece of Americana. It's probably always a good time to go back and look at Americana. There is that video going around. I did share it. I don't know where I shared it. But it was the teacher, and someone requested a song get played. And they're playing Country Roads, Take Me Home. To a place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, Country Roads. Some people said it was because of Fallout, the video game, and some people said it's just not the children's yearn for the mines. Although that's so funny. But something that children yearn for Americana. So that's pretty interesting to think about. So if you need more of these positive stories, and that's just a reminder, do you believe in miracles? Yes. US beat USSR 4-3, 44 years ago, today or yesterday. All right, so here's our TNAM question of the day. TNAM is the new American media because the old American media failed. How prepared, and please feel free to vote on this. We have 6 days left in this poll here on X. We're at American_media_. TNAM preparedness is the hashtag. How prepared would you be if the AT&T outage was the beginning of a coordinated attack on America? So 0% are saying halfway to prepared. 25% say I'd be in trouble. Then you have 25% saying fairly prepared. Let's go. And then very prepared has 50%. Bring it. Very prepared. So take some time today and get more prepared. So this is another post about Catherine Herridge. CBS facing uproar after seizing Catherine Herridge's files, her computers, and her records, including information on privileged sources. Quote, there is trouble brewing at There is trouble brewing at BlackRock, the headquarters of CBS, after the firing of Catherine Herridge, an acclaimed investigative reporter. And the seizure of her records sent a chilling signal in the ranks of CBS. Are you feeling these chilling signals yet? It'd be a good time to do so. Her termination immediately raised suspicions in Washington. She was pursuing stories that were unwelcomed by the Biden White House and many Democratic powerhouses, including the Her report on Joe Biden's diminished mental capacity, the Biden corruption scandal, and the Hunter Biden laptop. So that's what's going on. This one, this comment, gentle reminder that CBS knew the Obama administration was spying on their entire newsroom during Cheryl Atkinson's time there. If I'm not mistaken, I believe she said that CBS even helped Obama's FBI, CIA spy on her Fast and Furious reporting. This is just strange, man. Whether it's Gonzalo Lira, you got Glenn Greenwald having trouble, what, in Venezuela? You have Edward Snowden in Russia. Like, how does he end up with Putin? Then you have Julian Assange. They're trying to extradite him to the United States. They're trying to hold a last-minute hearing to block that. Like, these are journalists covering the stories. This is protected work endeavors. This wasn't supposed to be as dangerous a profession as it seems to be these days. There's supposed to be certain whistleblower protections. And I did share a whistleblower story coming up. Let's see if I have. I think I'll have something as I scroll through here. Let's keep looking. Yeah. Privileged sources. Okay, that's just a retelling of the trouble brewing. That is tough to say. Trouble brewing at Black Rock. That is a tough phrase. There's trouble brewing at Black Rock. I mean, it can be said, but if you're not ready for it, your mouth has not really formed those syllables in that order very often. So here's Catherine Herridge predicting a Black Swan event in 2024, just 3 months ago.
A little dark. I just feel a lot of concern that 2024 may be the year of a Black Swan event. This is a national security event with high impact that's very hard to predict. There are a number of concerns that I have that factor into that.
She's warning everybody.
Not only this sort of enduring heightened threat level that we're facing, the wars in Israel, also Ukraine. And we're so divided in this country in ways that we haven't seen before. And I think that just creates fertile ground for our adversaries like North Korea, China, and Iran. And that's what concerns me most. Well,
man, I mean, she's on top of it. So, you know, the grid goes down, the cellular system goes down for a little bit, for a long time. I mean, you're seeing tens of thousands of Chinese nationals coming across the border. What are they there for? I saw 3 or 4 guys coming in from Syria. These look like special forces, by the way. These people coming in. This is not your huddled masses, a mother and her 2-year-old. This is like if you were on a mission to go conquer Italy and every country had people storming the shores of Italy. I mean, this is what it looks like at the border right now. So what would you do? I mean, what do most people say? Like when you go in to a home or a business, your goal is to force an entrance. One of the first things you do is you cut the power so that you can, you know, disable the cameras or something like that. And of course, that's why you would want to have alternate means of power, having a different generator going so that you could keep some systems online. But yeah, that's what it would look like. You'd go to use your phone and it wouldn't work. And it's like, it could be go time right then. And it's like, trust me, wherever people are stationed, they have a list. They have addresses. They know exactly who to go after. If this were a plan, this is what it would look like. And Agenda 2030 kind of walks you through the same. That's trending as well. Let me just check what Agenda 2030 is going on about. So this is the massive farmers' protest in Spain today against the climate agenda in Agenda 2030. Let's go ahead and take a look here. These are stories that need to be told. global allies. Global adversaries. Let me turn down a little bit. We've got a horn honking. Yeah, you got factor after factor after factor. Lots of yellow vests. You know, people are pushing back against this stuff. What is this? The police state of this is how Agenda 2030 will go. Do we want to watch some of this?
About a virus, and deep down everyone knew it. But the fear was too much for people to take action. The tension built. There was some rioting, and then the military...
Man, yeah, I'm just going to share it. Go check it out. It's a 4-minute clip. I mean, just a few seconds in, you're like, ugh, this is not great. Anyway, let me bounce back to the rest of the stories that I had here. So let's see. Klaus Schwab, this is a throwback to him warning that cyber attacks were on the horizon. Perhaps just a teaser of what to come? A teaser of what's to come. What does this post say from the Patriot Voice? Just think, if they're able to take out cellular communications so easily, imagine what will happen when they start coming after our bank accounts, ATMs, and home security systems, hospitals, emergency services, etc. Remember that movie Leave the World Behind, produced by the Obamas, in which a major cyber attack wreaks havoc all over America? They always show and tell you what's coming. You haven't seen anything yet. Stay prepared. Well, damn. Are you prepared? Take a little bit of time today and get more prepared. Let's listen to this video. Klaus Schwab telling you what the World Economic Forum and the Great Reset is all about. It's about power. It's about control. It's about dominance.
Attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which...
I mean, he's out here like a Bond villain telling you straight up, Mr. Bond, if I didn't have you pinned down to this, let me tell you about my plan and how it could be thwarted.
Pay insufficient attention to the comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack.
So is that what they're planning this time around? Take today and get ready. There's a couple lighthearted ones. Me after sending final texts and leaving my Wi-Fi riddled home to run errands on AT&T's America's Oregon Trail provider wireless network. And that's Katniss Everdeen. May the odds forever be in your favor. Marco Rubio here says it better than I can. And, you know, I will wrap it on this point because I'm going to take a couple of steps right now. Take care of a couple things. I'm going to use this borrowed time. Marco Rubio posts, I don't know the cause of the AT&T outage, but I do know it will be 100 times worse when China launches a cyber attack on America on the eve of a Taiwan invasion. And it won't be just cell service they hit. It will be your power, your water, and your bank. So take this time that we have and level up a little bit. Just a couple more. I love this Douglas A. Boneparth. This is a nice take on something I've read a couple times. It's pretty interesting. It says, Uber has no cars. Airbnb has no hotels. AT&T has no service. This is the new economy. Thought that was kind of funny. This person, hey, AT&T, did you try unplugging it and waiting 10 seconds and plugging it back in yet? I mean, that's really the first thing that you do. So, yeah, and just this is all on the heels of this Engeron. Marjorie Taylor Greene, this is still another thing that we tweeted out today. Judge Engeron should be disrobed and thrown out. He's a disgrace. Mar-a-Lago in 1981 was only a home, and today it is one of the most exclusive social clubs in the world. Mar-a-Lago is now worth more than the ridiculous judgment he ruled against President Trump. So Amuse here says, flashback, if you had 20 million 46 years ago, you could have bought Mar-a-Lago. Sadly, according to real estate expert Arthur Engelman, the property is now only worth 18 million. That's just so absurd what they're doing. And then here's pictures of migrants beating cops. I'm telling you, I gift cards being given out, $10,000. You don't have to give any proof of who you are. You know, we got those reports yesterday that people are trafficking migrants over here, and it's like some of these migrants don't know why they're here and what they're supposed to be doing, and they don't want to stay here, but they're kind of stuck. You know, that's it leads to some foreboding times. So just take a few minutes today. I'm going to leave you with this quick one because it's time to get prepared, people. This is not a drill. Nobody will help you. 911 service that woke up to hearing, oh, 911 service is disabled. You know, who are you going to call? You have to call yourself. You have to call your family, your friends, your loved ones, your community. You have to call on yourself. So level up today. And follow the New American Media, because we try to unpack this stuff for you every day on every platform. The Agree to Disagree Show and the New American Media. So for everybody out there in the TNAM universe, I appreciate you. I love you.